Denver Broncos 29, Las Vegas Raiders 19. Broncos moved to 7-5. Raiders moved to 2-9. The other story coming out of this game, Gardner Minshew, broken collarbone, was it?
Yeah.
Or clavicle?
Same thing.
What do you use? What do you say, clavicle or collarbone?
Collarbone.
Okay. Well, it's broken. He's out for the season. So we're going to get Desmond Ridder as of right now for the Raiders, unless they sign Daniel Jones.
Unless they can convince Danny to do it.
So, yeah, Raiders are 2-9 now.
Yeah.
Broncos get the win. Bo Nix, another pretty clean effort for the rookie.
This was like an echo of the Week 5 game between these two teams where the Raiders are winning. They're doing well. They're looking pretty good. And then a Minshew interception swings the entire game. From that point on, it's all Denver. Remember this happened the first time.
That was the same. Yeah,
they were going in for a touchdown.
Red zone
and Minshew
interception.
throws an interception, and from that point, that was a pick six, right? He threw a pick six to.
And they broke all the streaks, right? They broke the big losing streak.
Yeah.
Early in the season, had never beat the Las Vegas Raiders, and now they finally win a road game.
And this was another one. It was like 5 straight road defeats to the Raiders. So yeah, but same thing. It's like they go for a fake punt early in the game. It was a nice one actually as well.
That was
like
really
a
nice.
Little crossing route from to. I always wonder, how do you determine who the guy that's going to catch it is going to be, right? Like, because obviously to an extent it's sort of position based, right? But theoretically you should think, who do we want it to be? Like, who do you actually need to be able to catch to have this thing? Like Divine Diablo, the linebacker, is the guy that we're going to dial up as the intended receiver on this play. Just strikes me as a fascinating.
He was a college safety.
Sure, but it's like not somebody that I would immediately earmark as I want him to be the designated receiver here. But anyway, fake punt, nice. The Raiders, they've got the lead. Everything's going good. And then interception. And immediately off the back of that, Bo Nix to Cortland Sutton, touchdown. And it's like, it's Week 5 all over again.
Yeah. Cortland Sutton with 2 touchdowns. First one, I mean, they're both really nice, but first one, kind of more of a jump ball, I would say. Sutton goes up and gets it, but Broncos offense last couple weeks especially feels like they're finding their groove. They got Marvin Mims up for the 37-yarder out of the backfield again, so they schemed that one up. They got Troy Franklin for a 26-yarder. Vele's been a find for them in the 7th round. He had 6 catches for 80 yards, spreading the ball around. Didn't run the ball all that effectively overall, but spreading it around in the pass game. And again, it feels like Sean Payton in that offense just scheming it up maybe better than they have in a long time.
I mean, both sides of the ball.
The defense looks out.
According to BFF right now, Denver's defense amassed 32 pressures, right? 13 different players had a pressure in this game.
Oh, yeah. Their ability, I mean, that's been one of their stories. Their ability to have so many different contributors. And Nik Bonitto has been awesome. I wanted to highlight him in a minute, but so many different contributors and so many different people creating pressure has been impressive. 9
different players had multiple pressures to them. I mean, they are dialing it up from all over the place. And not, a lot of those guys are not defensive linemen. They've got linebackers with multiple pressures. They've got cornerbacks with pressure. Like, the defense is deep in its bag as well.
26-19, Bonito. So Raiders still technically had a chance here. Nik Bonitto with a strip sack. He has played really well. I mean, we had some Broncos fans saying, you didn't touch on Nik Bonitto enough. Like, we loved Nik Bonitto. We loved him during draft time. Since week 7, number 7 edge rusher by PFF grades in the NFL. So Bonito, he's over 10 sacks now too. I don't know what the NFL has tracked, but I think he's over 10 sacks. But really impressive rush against Colton Miller. Gets the strip sack. And then he's finishing plays. He's had a few plays where he's just been unblockable this season.
Yeah.
But it's like, especially these last few weeks, Bonito really putting it together and been one of the key players on any defense over the last few weeks.
Yeah, he's become a really good sort of situational pass rusher for them. He's that classic undersized designated pass rusher who's really good at that. Like, if you have an offensive tackle that struggles a little bit with speed, quickness, smaller guys, Nik Bonitto right now is a nightmare for those guys to go up against.
So, yeah, Denver's defense coming good again, man.
Yeah, and they lost him in this game to a knee injury, but shout out to Riley Moss, who's been a really important part of that defense. It's apparently an MCL sprain. They thought he could have gone back in the game, but kept him out for safety, so it's hopefully not a long-term thing for him. But Riley Moss has been a really important part of that defense. Obviously, Patrick Surtain is their number 1 corner and the best guy they have, but second year of Riley Moss has been really good. Like, he's had, earlier in the season, he had a bad tendency to kind of completely blow contain, in the run game or whatever on his side of the field, but just in coverage terms, he's been a really good player.
Brandon Jones, the safety as well, he's the one who had the interception for Denver. I mean, that's kind of like the story of Denver's defense, isn't it? Because we've talked about Arizona's defense and having, being this no-name type of group. Denver, on paper, shouldn't be as good as they are defensively. But when you add it all up, they've been fantastic. Brandon Jones was a bit of a rotational player with the Dolphins, throughout much of his career. He's having a career year, played the most snaps of his career. PFF grade over 85 right now. He's been one of the better safeties in the league per PFF this season. So Denver's gotten contributions from just a lot of different players. Zach Allen, who didn't play in this one, but, getting a ton of pressure. John Franklin Myers had 7 pressures in this game. I mean, impressive job by Vance Joseph and what they've gotten out of Denver and all of their playmakers at every level, really.
Yeah, and we're continuing to see this Marvin Mims in the backfield thing pay dividends. They did it again.
Yarder.
Yeah, had another really nice 30-plus yarder out of the backfield. It's breaking defenses. I mean, they dropped coverage on him again. You could see before the snap on that play, like the entire defense is in chaos trying to figure out how to line up properly. Marvin Mims just out of the backfield, boom, big gain because they don't have anyone that's tracking him.
That's what I'm saying about Sean Payton. I feel like they have not, remember the old schematic advantage quote from Charlie Weiss years ago? He goes to Notre Dame and he says, we're going to have the schematic advantage at Notre Dame.
Handy.
They did not.
Huh.
But Sean Payton, I haven't felt like he has any kind of schematic advantage his first couple years in Denver. Last few weeks, feeling that a little bit more.
Yeah.
It is back. It feels like using personnel in different ways. The way they're moving Mims around has been huge. The way they're getting the ball to Cortland Sutton and Bo Nix, I think, just quieting his game a little bit more. He was very, a little out of control. The way he maneuvered the pocket, footwork, and everything early in the year, I think a lot of that has quieted, and he's getting the ball down the field, and they're making big plays.
Yeah, and that receiving corps is starting to look a lot more impressive now. Obviously, Cortland Sutton was the guy, but Vele has been really impressive. They're getting Troy Franklin a little bit more involved. Obviously, you've got Marvin Mims now as a backfield weapon as much as anything else. Suddenly that receiving corps is looking a little bit more potent than it did where it was like outside of Cortland Sutton, who's going to make plays for you?
All right, man, anything else on this one?
I thought Denver's offensive line held up well. Max Crosby had a couple plays here or there, but overall, that was a pretty impressive performance from them.
Jacoby Myers, Raiders played tough, man. Jacoby Myers making some tough catches in traffic, and Brock Bowers held to only 4 catches in this one.
He broke a Jerry Rice record.
He did.
Did you see that?
He did.
Wait.
He broke a Jerry Rice Raiders record.
Yeah. That's a record.
But go ahead.
So he broke it's the most receptions from any Raiders receiver through the first 11 games of the season, which hilariously was previously held by Jerry Rice, 40-year-old Jerry Rice. This is how insane Jerry Rice was, that the Raiders had Hall of Fame careers out of Tim Brown, like a contemporary of Jerry Rice. And yet it wasn't until 40-year-old Jerry Rice arrived with the receding hairline that he racked up a league-leading or a team record number of catches through 11 games. Now, you can also say that's a Rich Gannon stat as much as it's a Jerry Rice stat, but still, it's quite funny to me that Raiders legend Jerry Rice is the guy that held that record.
Is every Joe Montana, Steve Young, Rich Gannon stat merely a Jerry Rice record?
Who can say?
Jerry Rice stat, I should say.
It's just, 40-year-old Jerry Rice holds records for the Raiders, not Hall of Famer Tim Brown.
If the kids have not seen the early 2000 Raiders play with Tim Brown, Jerry Rice, and Rich Gannon, it might not look as cool now, but it did then because it was a run-first type of league, and they were passing all over the place, and Gannon was fun to watch back then. That was a good offense. Charlie Garner out of the backfield. Congrats to Brock Bowers. Raiders come back on Black Friday with likely Desmond Ridder against the 10-1 Chiefs. I'm going to get my Christmas tree.
Doesn't immediately scream upset.
It does. With Minshew in there, they at least you have the opportunity. But I don't know. See what happens. Anything else here?
No. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.